Alright, I'm gonna get this video put out here. I've been meaning to put this out. But every time I say I do, something else comes up and I never get to do it. So, I'll put this out now. This information, has been verified by the EPA, even though I didn't, needed to be verified. But, it was admitted to by the EPA, which I was very surprised. But, workers getting sick. I know there's a lot more out there than what's in this report. They're keeping it quiet, and they're keeping it quiet on purpose. We know, federal officials that came in and got sick, and CDC, and people don't want to come to town because they get symptoms. Well, imagine that. The workers get symptoms too. Like I said, this is just a drop in the bucket too. So this has to do with the air knifing they started back on February 21st. They didn't sulfur Nestle to address released product and potential environmental concerns. If you don't know air knifing is they basically shoot a jet of high pressure air into the sediment and mix it up and make everything kind of float to the surface. HEPACO did the air knifing. The CTEH conducted the real-time air monitoring, which I don't know how good that was. From the little bit I've seen of them sediment washing, it was pretty poor, but we won't go into that. They also, put a task-specific job safety analysis, a JSA, for all air knifing operations. Oops, I didn't want to open that window. All right, now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of some workers getting sick. Now, this is just of the air knifing team. I do believe it was if you can believe their numbers, it was a team of 48 altogether. I don't know how many was in the creek, or every time I seen them sediment washing and stuff in there, it was always the same team. So, you had people that had to drive the, air compressors around, and so, take 48. This ain't 48 people in the creek. There might have been maybe like 4 or 5 in the creek. So, on several occasions since March 6th, there were reports of unknown black product liquid that surfaced during various air knifing operations. And one seemed to happen right down here by the sewage treatment plant. This tree is still there, but it's standing up, and they dug the crap out of this area. On April 15th, several HEPACO workers reported a strong odor along Sulphur Run between Walnut Street and Koch Street, while air knifing operations were being conducted on the 5th pass. Okay, 5 passes they made on this creek, and I can still find shit in it. There's something wrong. One of these workers reported nausea and requested to return to the hotel for the remainder of the day. Interviews were conducted with multiple HEPACO workers, and 3 additional HEPACO workers and 1 CTEH worker reported similar symptoms of nausea, headache, and upper respiratory irritation periodically during air knifing. According to HEPACO, these workers reported symptoms that began during the second pass of air knifing through the creek. Shortly after these interviews, they stopped all work on air knifing to allow for further investigation. So, I was told they hit a pocket of hydrogen sulfide, and I always do that. That is why they stopped air knifing. I don't know. I can't say. Hydrogen sulfide. You fart, it's in there. Sewage plants. Sewage pipes. So it does have a distinct odor, I would guess. But if you're just going by smell, but I don't know if it was tested for it or they're just going by the smell of it. But that was what was said, what the pocket they hit, to call for them to stop air knifing totally on April 15th. I think the date. Okay, so on 2/4, CTH begins air monitoring at 1:49 in the morning. I requested the 2/4 and the 2/5 air monitoring data from the EPA. I haven't got it back yet. I just want to see what they were picking up in the air. February 21st, they start air knifing on 3/6 and 3/8. So March 6th and March 8th. A black liquid product began surfacing in specific creek areas while air knifing. This would have been Sulphur Run near 448 Taggart Street and Sulphur Run near Liberty Street. Odors described as foul, pungent, strong, fruity, rotten. On 3/8, detections of VOCs up to 0.6 parts per million. No detections of vinyl chloride or butyl acrylate. That is the most common thing you will see repeated in each one of these, and it's sickening because that's the only thing they monitored their workers for was for exposure to that. We'll get into that a little bit. March 16th, this is the tree down by the water treatment plant. A granular product and sheen reported bubbling out from under fell tree. Workers were instructed to avoid air knifing the area until further notice. No detections of VOCs, vinyl chloride, or butyl acrylate. Again, strong, pungent, sweet odors reported only when the water was agitated. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? March 27th, there's a sulfur run next to Strohekers. And this would have been behind Vala's engines. Granular product and sheen reported while air knifing. Workers egressed from creek to fresh air because of a strong odor described as strong paint thinner-like odor. Workers complained of headaches. Detections of VOCs peaked at 0.8 ppm. No detections of vinyl chloride or butyl acrylate. Let's see here. March 30th. This is behind 448 Taggart Street. Elevated VOCs in a known substance in creek. A known substance reported in creek behind 448 East Taggart. VOC spiked. Workers egressed upwind. CTH project manager and assistant safety officer were contacted. An assessment was conducted and elevated VOC readings were observed, but there was no detection of vinyl chloride or butyl acrylate. A faint, pungent, sweet odor reported. Workers were advised to move from that area of the creek until further investigation is completed. And on April 15th is when they called for a stop work. This is Sulphur Run near Walnut and Koch. HEPACO workers reported several pockets of strong odors along Sulphur Run near Walnut Street. One worker reported nausea and left the work site. No treatment was needed or provided. Air knifing operations were discontinued until further notice. So they're detecting these smells. So that means why they're doing this, the residents around in that general area were being exposed to whatever they were exposing when they were air knifing. That explains the reports of smells, throughout the town every once in a while. It just goes to show you that this was a total crap show. Let's see here. They did real-time air monitoring. I didn't pull a picture of it. It was just a handheld monitor. They monitored for VOCs, vinyl chloride, and butyl acrylate. I don't know why they're so stuck on vinyl chloride and butyl acrylate when there was freaking tons of other chemicals that these workers could have been exposed to. But that's the two they chose to, focus on, which I find very weird. But they were given working monitoring badges. They were placed on the general area of the breathing zone for the duration of the shift, generally 8 hours. And then they were to detect vinyl chloride and butyl acrylate, which is sick. These are some of the odors that was reported. Being this is only from February 21st to April 15th. Sweet 323. Fruity 176. You guys can read down through. The fish is kind of interesting. 26. This is the odors they described. I'm probably going out of. Okay, this is their badges. Okay, just in the air knifing operations, they had 79. And you see, butyl acrylate, vinyl chloride was only 2 they were monitoring for. They didn't have any other. I don't know, other operations. I guess. They had 458. They have 13 detections of butyl acrylate, 4 vinyl chloride. The butyl acrylate, the highest one was 1.7 parts per million, and exposure limits 2 parts per million. So, I'd be kind of worried about that if that was me, but they just chose to only monitor their workers for 2 things. Oops. I'm opening the wrong thing again. So when they finally they stopped the air knifing on April 15th. Orcadas did they sampled 9 core samples from 4 general areas where the majority of the odor complaints were reported, including where the stop work issue on April 15th. Each sample was a 4-foot core sample. Let's see here. This is what was detected in some of the samples. The 9 samples, this was in 6 of them, this was in 5 of them, 1 of them. We have another page here that, this is what they found in the core samples they took. I didn't bother looking up, these numbers. If somebody wants to feel smart and, figure them all out, knock yourself out. What else did I want to go to? This is just a little, what they show the whole time, from March 6th to April 15th, I think this goes to. It was just butylacrylate and vinyl chloride. That's all they tested their workers for exposure while they were working. It's sickening because they're all used to. There's a lot of other chemicals out there that could cause problems than just that. And remember, vinyl chloride, according to the EPA, dissipates quickly in the environment. So is that why you chose to monitor for it on your workers? Because nothing was really going to show up. Just a question. We got odor intensities here. Orange is going to be the strong, very strong. Of course, up by right down from the derailment behind Stroheckers. You got a lot of strong. Coming through town, you get a lot of strong. The blue is faint. Very faint or faint. I guess they just took these anywhere. I thought this was only air knifing, but there isn't even a creek here, and they have odor things there. So I thought this was air knifing only, but apparently this was anywhere near the creek. If you smelled something, I guess you reported it. This is the smells. From sweet to acetone, fruity. Acetone fruity was a lot up by derailment, down from Stroheckers. Petroleum, fruity, fish, chemical odor, sewage. There's a couple down by sewage treatment plant, obviously. Rotten. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about all of them. So, this was... Oh, man, it's been 17 minutes already? Oh, wow. So this was just a quick video covering workers getting sick, and I know this is just the tip of the iceberg. I know there's more, a lot more out there that were having issues, or maybe still are having issues. But I wasn't gonna put this out at first, but it's the company admitting that people did get sick by air knifing, and so by air knifing, you're stirring up whatever was in the sediment. Could it be from 50 years ago, 100 years ago? I don't know. That's not my expertise. But they were definitely stirring something up, and the whole time they were air knifing like this, and aeration, and their bubble diffusers and everything. They were trying to take the VOCs down in the water. The whole time that was going on, the town was being exposed to it. Interesting thing I found was the canisters. The canisters you see everywhere. Now, if I get this wrong, please correct me. But from what I understood, the canisters give a 24-hour average of a chemical. The air monitoring buses you see driving around, they give real time. So you could have a 2-hour period where the levels are extremely high, but the air canister isn't really going to show that because it does a 24-hour average reading. So when they're saying they can't find, there was no nothing in the canisters and stuff like that. I would really like to see the info from the buses driving around, because that would give real-time data, not no average data. So that's one thing I did learn about that. But workers get sick. We've had, reporters, we've had government workers get sick. Creeks are still extremely disgusting. Their presidential creek plan thing is nothing but a freaking joke. If you air knifed it 5 times and I can still go down there and find stuff, where's it coming from? If you cleaned it up, and you did 5 passes on something, but yet I can still go down there and find something that tells me that it's either moving underground or it is, drastically in the banks. That is a known thing. We pointed out many times in our videos of digging into the bank, and it just keeps on flowing out of the banks. So that whole thing's a joke. It's a PR thing. It's a Band-Aid. I don't think really there's no way they can clean this up. Even digging it out, it's so far into the subsoil right now that I don't think you could even dig the creeks out to get most of this out. So, but that's my opinion. You can hold your own opinion and think what you want. But here we go. We got admitted workers getting sick by by companies. And it's the same thing that a lot of people in town complain about: nausea, headache, upper respiratory irritation. Wow, sounds familiar, doesn't it? But you're all a bunch of idiots because it's all in your head, and there's nothing wrong here. But yet you had workers experiencing the same thing. I just don't get how somebody would think. And I never will. So, and I don't even want to try. So that's your little cut of, workers getting sick. I don't think this is the end. I think more people is going to start coming forward eventually. Especially when this is done. I think we're going to have a lot of people come forward. So we'll keep on it. I'll keep investigating it and, following up with people. Then we'll take it from there. All right, guys. Have a good night.